Hello, welcome to Away with Yin. I'm Andy, and I'm so happy and I'm so thankful you decided to join me for this Yin Yoga practice. Today's practice, we'll be working with the small intestine meridian line. This is an energy channel that is thought to run on the outside of both arms, the pinky side of our arms, where it runs all the way up to the back of the shoulder, over the side of the neck, the side of the face, ending right in front of our ear. Whether this is a new or a familiar concept to you, I encourage you to stick around to learn more about this throughout our practice. And if you'd like to stay around, gather some props and meet me in a comfortable seat. We'll begin today's practice by finding an ujjayi breath, or an oceanic sounding breath. This breath can be created by finding a slight constriction in the back of your throat, similar to fogging up a mirror, and you maintain this restriction as you breathe in and breathe out. So finding a few rounds of this breath and not constricting so hard that it's difficult to breathe. The breath still comes with ease. We're just creating this oceanic sound for us to begin tapping into the sensation of hearing, as well as stimulating the vagus nerve, our rest and digest nerve. Letting this be your last round of ujjayi breath before letting the breath come back to normal. And just be in this space of just noticing what's already changed. And for our first yin shape, we'll move into our neck release, bringing our left ear over our left shoulder and letting that be enough as you get started. Trying to let the elbows pull the shoulders down away from your ears and just letting your head hang in the pull of gravity. So we're not forcing anything to happen, we're not pushing or chasing sensation, we're just letting gravity do the work for us as we start to open into the right side of our neck, already beginning to stimulate the meridian lines that rest here. When the time comes that you feel ready to move deeper into this pose, you can extend your right fingers out to the side. Really root through your fingers to feel a sensation not only through the side of your neck, but down your arm as well. At any point in the practice, you're welcome to breathe an intentional breath, or maybe returning back to the ujjayi breath. The breath is really important in yin because it illuminates where we feel sensation. So not only anchoring us into the pose, but allowing us to really notice what we feel and where we feel it. And since yin is such a slow moving, passive practice, the breath is our number one indicator of when we've gone too far, too fast into a pose. If you ever find that your breath is caught or stuck, that's your indicator to back off. And we might explore this by taking our left hand and with a feather light touch, placing it on the outside of our head, just adding that much more weight into gravity to release your head off to the side. But if you find this and again your breath gets caught or stuck, let that left hand release. You can always try again later. As we find this neck release, we're beginning to stimulate the meridian or energy channel that runs along this side. So, when this channel is free of stagnation or blockages, it allows for a healthier, more harmonious being. And just for a moment of curiosity, you might be curious about pressing a little more firmly into just your pinky finger and just notice how that changes sensation. If maybe you can visualize or feel the start of that meridian line up your arm and wherever else it might travel. With your next breath, can you start to very carefully take your head back to center, releasing your hands to your lap, and just noticing how you feel from right to left side. You always have the liberty to move at your own pace. When you're ready to balance this out, you might recross your legs or change your seat before letting your right ear drop over your right shoulder, just taking it one step at a time. Can you let just that be enough before you start adding any other variations? And perhaps those words, one step at a time, really resonated with you. And that's the essence, the foundation of yin. It's opening our senses and our hearing to when the body invites us to move deeper. And it's once we hear the call, we hear the invitation, we might extend those left fingers out to the side, allowing sensation to journey up and down the arm. And at some point, maybe pressing a little more firmly into the pinky finger, visualizing or even beginning to feel that meridian line up and down the outer arm. And the more quiet you can become, the more still you can become, the more likely it is for that to happen. And this is our last breath in and out of our neck release before releasing the hands and the head very carefully back to center to just notice if the shoulders feel more level, the sides of the neck feel more harmonious, or if there's any remaining contrast between the two sides. If you haven't done so already, you can flutter your eyes open and we'll journey into half butterfly, extending our left leg long while tucking our right heel in towards our pelvis. And rather than folding forward, we'll find a lateral bend or a side body opener in this variation. So you can make a bench with your blocks and your bolster, or maybe creating a tower with your blocks inside or on top of your left leg. And we're creating this structure so we can root down through our left elbow to cradle the side of our head. And maybe you hold your head in your hands. If you have sensitive wrists, you can make a fist to just rest your head on. And your right arm can rest on your right knee, maybe your right hip crease. Keep rolling your right shoulder back and also down away from your ear. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out, and just notice where the breath illuminates. Of course, there are many different places where we might be feeling sensation, but for the theme of this class, we really want to focus on the side body and the side of the neck, given this is where the small intestine meridian line runs. So you can keep that right hand on your leg, or you might wrap it around the back of your waist. When I do this, I like to just grab the hem of my shirt to just wrap around my fingers so I don't need to grip. It just kind of holds your hand in place. This might be perfect, or to emphasize even more into the side of the neck, you might place your forehead in your palm. So it's like your gaze shifts down towards your extended leg. And again, you're just holding your forehead or the third eye center. And so, to explore the meridians a little deeper, it is thought that there are 12 meridian lines that mirror one another from the right and left side of our bodies, and every line is linked to an organ. And when this line is free of blockages, we find or we maintain free flowing energy or chi. And it's when there's no blockages that we feel more harmonious, our organs are more healthy. But when blockages or stagnation occur in these meridian lines, imbalances manifest, whether they're physical disturbances, emotional, or spiritual. These blockages, You can think of them just like a traffic jam. When there's a block, tensions arise, emotions arise, and we get frustrated. And it's the same idea or concept, just with the movement and the flow of energy. So, by taking yin shapes and holding these shapes, we stimulate these lines with varying degrees of pressure or healthy stress to help move the stagnation out. As you breathe, you might visualize breathing in fresh air and exhaling out a dark cloud. Let your next inhale breath start to gently carry you out of the posture, starting with your right arm, bringing your spine back upright. You might pause for a moment there, and whenever you need to change your seat, please do so to make yourself more comfortable. And next, we'll move right over to the second side, letting our right leg extend long as we tuck the left heel in. And again, you might do the bench with a set of blocks and a bolster, or you can always stack your blocks higher, just high enough that we can root down through our right elbow to find that side body sensation as we tip ourselves over to the side, cradling our head in our hands. And journeying one step at a time, your left hand can stay by your knee or your left hip crease. As you feel ready, as you hear the invitation, that's when you move deeper by wrapping the left arm around the back of your waist and changing the position of your head. So now that we know a bit more about the meridian lines, what makes the small intestine so special and why are we focusing on it in this practice? Well, every set of your organs comes in a pair, and one of your organs in that pair is more yin, and one of those organs is more yang. And every organ pair is related to or represented by a season. In the northern hemisphere, we are in the season of summer, the season of fire, the season of the heart, and the small intestine. From a Taoist philosophy, it is thought that your heart is the seed of your truth. It is the bell, the singing bowl that wants to ring freely, but What's the point in having something ring if we can't hear it? And that's where your small intestine comes into play. If you remember at the beginning of our class, I told you that this meridian line ends at your ear. And that's because the small intestine is the heart's closest advisor, listening to everything around us, everything within us, and deciding what the heart needs to hear and filtering out anything that is just noise. From a Western perspective, we really think of our organs as just having a physical function, and your small intestine filters your food, filters the nutrients from the waste. But from an Eastern perspective, our organs go beyond just the physical function. They have an emotional and a spiritual function as well. And that function typically relates to the physical. But instead of filtering food and something physical, we filter thoughts, we filter emotions, and we filter all of the noise of the outside world. It's when our heart is heavy and almost congested that our song doesn't sing, that bell doesn't ring, and we can't hear our truth. So by filtering, the heart stays light, it maintains space around it for its song and its truth to ring. With your next exhale breath, unraveling your left arm from behind you and taking all the time that you need to gently guide your spine back upright, pausing in that still space between sides to just be, to absorb, and to witness. Awesome job. So before we move into our next pose, let's take a moment to release our low back. You might bend into your knees and windshield wiper them side to side. And if that wasn't enough, we can find a seated spinal twist. Inhaling to lengthen the spine, and with an exhale breath, twisting to one side. Doesn't matter which way you go, just be mindful that you're not cranking or pushing, just stopping where it feels most right to do so. An exhale breath, we release, and we inhale to lengthen and twist over to the second side. releasing your twist, and we will prepare for our next shape. At this point, your body might be craving a forward fold, and I'm going to take caterpillar pose with my legs long. But since we've already emphasized the hamstrings, I really want to bring more awareness to my back. So I'm choosing to keep my knees bent by bringing a bolster beneath them, but you could bring your blocks or a folded blanket beneath instead. And if you are someone who finds that forward folds feel rather constricting or it's just difficult to fold, elevate your hips. You could sit up on a block or the edge of a blanket like I am. And once you fold, hinge at your hips, let your spine round to really open the backs of the shoulders, all of the tissues along your spine, and you might support your forehead with a block as well. It sounds counterintuitive, but the more that we support ourselves, the more we release, the more the shoulder blades can fall apart from one another, and the more we stimulate the small intestine line that runs through the back of our shoulders. So, just to summarize, your heart needs space within it and around it for its truth, its song to ring. And the more preconceived ideas, too much excess knowledge, other people's opinions, or limiting beliefs all weigh heavy on our heart. And when our heart is heavy, its truth is muffled. Its truth cannot be heard or felt or connected to. And our small intestine plays such a pivotal role in helping to filter out the noise from what our heart needs to hear in order for us to be in alignment with our truth and what it means to be our authentic self. We've been here for quite some time now, so just enjoy one more breath before slowly easing your spine back upright, taking that moment of pause at the top to let everything integrate, return back to equilibrium, and of course to just notice how you feel. We'll flutter your eyes open if you haven't done so already, and we'll start to set ourselves up for our next shape, finding supported fish, a posture to open the heart, so we can make a mini set of stairs at the edge of our mat, just enough that we can rest our cushion or our bolster at an incline. But we're not going to recline back just yet. We're just setting the space up, and from there, finding a comfortable seat. And next, we'll explore stimulating an acupressure point, the end of the small intestine meridian line. So, just starting with your right side, can you bring your finger to the outside of your ear, where your ear meets your face? Once you do that, open your jaw and start to search for the little divot or indent, again, right where the ear meets the face. Once you find it, close your jaw and just start to softly, gently massage that space, or just apply a light pressure. And keep breathing as you do so, gently massaging and just noticing how this feels to stimulate your ears. With your next exhale breath, release and just notice how you feel, what feels different throughout your ears as well as your face. When you feel ready, moving on to the second side, doing the exact same thing, applying that light pressure, that light massage when you find this acupressure point. And know that this acupressure point is known as the listening place. So, by stimulating this point, not only are we clearing the ears or stimulating the meridian line and allowing our ability to listen to go beyond just the physical, really tuning inwards and allowing us to hear into intentions, aspirations, and truth. And releasing. Moving with care, moving slowly as we recline back into supported fish. You can start with your knees bent, eventually, maybe letting the legs fall long. And if this is uncomfortable for your neck, you can always place a blanket underneath your neck, just filling in that gap. We really want to allow ourselves to feel comfortable as we let our palms flip up towards the ceiling, taking up space with our arms to create space around our heart. As you breathe a deep breath in, where do you feel the breath travel? And can you visualize that wherever you feel the breath moving, that the sounds, the truth of your heart can ring and radiate through those same areas? I'll leave you here for a while to be in the song of your truth with nothing else to do but rest and listen. Beginning to deepen your breath. It might even feel good to inhale the arms up overhead, point through your toes, just letting the body know that we're about to roll off the edge of our bolster or just peel ourselves upright to seated as we start to prepare for our final resting pose, Shavasana. And just like your fish pose, can you make this final resting pose the most comfortable that you can? You'll see that I'm choosing to bring my bolster underneath my knees as I lie down on my back, but you can find any shape that feels best for your body and the day that you've had. If there's any movement you need to take that first before letting yourself fall into a gentle stillness. One last place to truly let everything become processed, become integrated. This place where we honor the death of our practice and the rebirth of our being. Beginning to deepen your breath. Sweep the nose from side to side. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Circle wrists, circle ankles. Rolling onto one side and taking as much time as you need to make your way up to seated. Once you're back in your comfortable seats, take a moment, maybe with the hands at heart or in your lap, to just notice how you feel. A moment to connect to gratitude for showing up for yourself, showing up to the mat, and practicing this small intestine meridian class with me. And join me for one last unified breath, breathing in and breathing out. If you like this practice, you might consider leaving me a comment, liking this video, or maybe subscribing. And regardless of all of those things, sincerely from my heart to yours, may you take care and thank you.